respectful discussion after community concerns affecting shoppers. Ground rules basically are just to keep this productive. One person speaks at a time, no interruptions. Everyone will have a chance to participate. I'll moderate to keep us on schedule. This is an information sharing discussion, not a confrontation. Agenda, here's how today will go. Brief introductions from invited candidates and officials. Number 2, questions from residents. 3, open discussion if time allows. And number 4, closing remarks. So, introductions to candidates and officials. I'll ask our invited candidates and officials to briefly introduce themselves, your name, your role, your office, and why you're here today, and please keep to about 1 minute. So whoever would like to speak first, if you'd like to hold the microphone. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeremy Scott. I live in Sumterville. It's not a big room. So my wife and I have lived in Sumterville since 2021. Everything was good until the landfill started to make a stink, literally. My background is I've been a nurse in mostly open heart ICU for 20 years. I grew up in Vermont, then moved with my previous wife to Philadelphia.
Can't even hardly hear you, Paul.
Maybe.
Yeah. Is that better?
Okay, speak up.
Yeah.
She's going to try to fix it.
What'd you do for 20 years?
I've been a nurse.
Oh, no, so good for you.
Testing 1, 2.
See what you know.
Testing 1, 2.
That's a lot better, yeah.
Better?
Must be just your voice.
Maybe it's my voice. Is that better?
Too deep.
There you go.
Alright, so again, been a nurse 20 years, mostly open heart ICUs and different interesting roles. A lot of committee work. Been in Sumterville since 2021. Back when 470 was still a straight shot, now I go through 6 roundabouts to get to work. I work at Health Waterman. I've worked at a couple other hospitals in Central Florida. Reason I'm, entering the political campaign is to basically to fight with the current incumbent and incumbents because I've seen some nasty things go on that I don't believe are appropriate for anywhere, county or city. I'm about slowing the growth, increasing, making sure these new developments are actually being charged their impact fees. I've seen that Orange County and Lake County have both had huge increases to their animal humane societies. I'm just starting this to get to know people and see what people want because I don't believe that what the current county commission has going on is what anybody wants. We all complain about Bradley Arnold, but he's going to be kind of a difficult person to get out of there, but I'm willing to try. And that's kind of what I got for right now.
Thank you.
Probably better not be used mine.
Yeah.
Unless you can talk like him, you're good.
I know you can hear me.
It's up to you.
We all
It's up to you if you want to use the
We
microphone.
love hearing you go.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Michael Squire. I'm not really here to give a speech. I was here to talk about outcomes. For over the last year, Lake Penn has been dealing with the landfill, and the strategy has been to just constantly keep calling new people. Well, calling people is not how you get enforcement. Data is. And that's the 2 questions I want to bring to this room tonight. The first one is, if county residents are being impacted outside of city limits, then how come the county hasn't funded an independent enforcement grade air monitoring system so that the regulators can actually do what they need to do. The second question is tonight, if the strategy is to keep calling, what system do we use to turn these phone calls into actionable enforcement? That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm here to do tonight, is close those two gaps specifically.
Thank you.
Okay, now it's time for questions from our residents, whoever would like to speak, if you want to use a microphone, or if not, just, if you could stand up and state your name. I wiped off the microphone if you want to use it, so it would not call me. So, who would like to speak and ask a question? I know Mr. May. No? Okay. Okay.
Well, I have a question. I don't need the microphone.
Okay,
It's a small
perfect.
enough room.
Yeah.
If you
I'm
could-
actually over in the Nobleton area, so I'm not in the immediate Lake Pan area. Has there been a water or environmental impact study done? I'm pretty new to the topic. But, you know,
Allegedly.
groundwater is a huge issue for our area because most of us are on wells. And if it smells that bad, how much of that is seeping into the aquifer and other areas that could be traveling to, you know, other communities outside of that specific location?
Do the candidates want to answer the residents' questions, because that's basically what we're here for today?
Yeah, I mean, I can go with what I know. So what is going on currently is Florida Department of Environmental Protection is aware that there is a problem. What the landfill and FDEP have agreed upon, and this to me is crazy, they want to build a monitoring well to see if they can actually put an injection well through the Florida aquifer, 27,000 feet, 2,700 feet, some distance, to be stored into the Earth's core to be dealt with at a later time. The knowledge of many of us is that the Florida limestone will be ruined by this, and these wells have a high failure rate. I believe there are 630 around the country, and the failure rate's about 10%. So if what they want to put down in this well is the leachate, because they currently ship it off to a water treatment plant in Lakeland. And so what they want to do now is to put this leachate into the Earth's core. There have been environmental studies. City of Bushnell allegedly had some consultants come out. I've called them multiple times to see if they could give an insight. They did 4 visits, and on those 4 days, magically there was no smell in the air of 144 sites of the visit. They used a very scientific method of testing the air called olfactory sensation.
Right.
They walked outside and smelled.
Well,
Meanwhile, there are devices that exist that you can basically hold it up in the air and it will identify any particulate and smell in the air. You know, you go by a pig farm, you're probably going to smell when you go to a dairy farm. Magically, this landfill, on the 4 days that they visited, probably with a heads up, didn't have this.
Right, yep, exactly.
Thank you for answering. Would you like an opportunity to answer also, or do you want to pass on that?
I'd like actually to expand on it.
Okay, please do.
That's where we're working together, combining our time.
Thank you.
We used to have a water and soil conservation district, but because the requirements were, okay, what this does is it allows us to hire like a farmer, someone from agriculture to be like a government scientist. And it's their job to test the water, test the soil and stuff like that. And it's normally their job to also use the equipment that he's talking about, the smell stuff. We got rid of it in 2024. I believe it was a statewide thing, but of the 2 different ways to handle it, it's go to a regional center or you get to keep your equipment. Sumter County got to keep our equipment. So we do have stuff to use, and even if we don't have specific stuff for this, they could just buy more or get the specific stuff or even just lease it. So it is an option. It's very much an option, and we were told, or we were allowed to keep our equipment. So, yes.
And you
there
would
was
just need
some-
somebody that's trained to operate it or,
They
volunteer.
use Arcadius, Heart of the Landfill or Heart of Florida use Arcadius to get compliance. Or I don't want to speak, maybe it was Bushnell. But we would need those things to find them out of compliance. Because it keeps track of wind direction, and we can put it on public property like easements. And every time you go off the property, just like the dairy farmers and the cow farmers, you're not allowed to just dose people with a lot of awful smells. That's actually one of the rules, one of the laws. It's one of the objectionable odors. I believe it's page 4 and 5 in the toolkit, if you guys want to look at it.
Okay.
Thank you.
And another, one other quick thing is that I had brought up to the VOCC that since probably, since December.
Excuse me if you, I don't mean to interrupt you. Would you like to stand up because
Yeah,
you're
sure.
being recorded so that you can face the camera? And this way everyone.
Yeah. So since about December, what we've noticed, or maybe it was November, what we noticed was when my wife and I would call Sumter County Sheriff's non-emergency line, as we were told many months ago, within 15 minutes, if we requested to speak with a deputy, the smell would stop, or so we thought. Because what would happen would be, my wife would call, I would be still at work, I would come home, and I would still smell it up the road, but you wouldn't smell it on our property. We figured it was about a 15-degree movement that the smell changed to. So it seems like it is controllable, directionable. There have been times I've looked that the weather pattern has shown that air is blowing southwest and we are directly east. So it doesn't make sense as to how smell from one location can be wind guided.
Thank you. Are we done with that question? Did you want to elaborate?
Do you feel like we answered it?
Absolutely. The only other thing that I'm curious is, has anyone stepped outside the state of Florida? Like environmental or like EPA, federal, because these guys are all working in unison, they all work for the same people. They're going to,
Could I?
Yes, sir, please go ahead.
The way the structure works is you have 3 enforcement bodies for this particular situation. The first level, going from the bottom up, the first one is going to be Bushnell code enforcement, and they have rules against it. That I believe is also page 5. Next one up is Florida Department of Environmental Protections. They're the ones that they're the second one up, and they have the the objectionable odor. That's the tier above Bushnell. The third tier is Department of Health. Very similar to the Department of Environmental Protection. Both of them need 3 separate people calling in to form an event. Multiple events can happen in a day. But you want your, and I've actually, the templates are there so that you can see an easy way to fill them out, but you want all 3 of those buckets to have 1 copy of each complaint. If there's 2 events in a day, that's 6, 3 and 3. Once we put stuff into those buckets, that's when you push awareness. This is where you would call the state level, like Samantha Scott. This is where you would call Environmental Protection Agency, because it's their job as politicians and regulators come in to check the buckets. And now if one of those buckets is missing something, they can actually complain that the other, it's not, like, I don't have what's in that bucket. So that's why we want all 3 buckets to be identical, so that when we do bring in our awareness and our pressure, there's something in the buckets. Because then if somebody is personally hand-waving it away at FDEP, that's when Samantha Scott, the representatives, and that's when EPA can now come in and say, hey, you were supposed to do this, and you're not doing it. But if we don't fill those buckets,
Right.
That's the problem.
Thank you. Are you satisfied with the
Yes,
answers? Okay,
absolutely.
great. So we'll give someone else an opportunity. Who would like to go next
Well,
and ask?
number one, BOCC ain't got nothing here to say over the dump system.
Allegedly.
So I wanna know what y'all are gonna do for the public on this issue. Are you gonna protest it? Are you going to voice it to the BOCC commission and the news over Arnold Boy's decision? Because you're supposed to be for our district, not for the village district. And we done got our original commissioner removed out of our district during that stuff due to the fact he knew he wasn't gonna be voted in. Now they got Bogue in there. I hate to say, but that's gonna be a problem. If y'all two are gonna go in there and try to take his job, it will be a problem. Because he's got a lot of votes, he's got a lot of background, and he's got the time and the effort into it right now. And he's got a heart for our county officials, he does. But him not showing up today, that sort of just puts a little sore in my throat about it.
I drove an hour here to have a conversation with that man,
You
sir.
see what I mean?
Yes, sir, I do.
You know, he's a good man, he's got a lot of issues, I talked to him.
I was a
I'll
fireman,
give him
sir.
that.
I thought he would be a brother like all firemen have been, and he's done nothing but turn his back on us. Literally, $40,000 lost, and I'll go on and tell you all about it.
Croom and Nobleton need another fire department and rescue. That's a must. Y'all had them out there before, and Arnold Boy took them away and put them out by the interstate to get more revenue. The hell with the rest of the people that's gonna sit there and lose their homes and die. And they're gonna route you to Inverness, the closest hospital, and Inverness is the worst hospital, as far as I look at it. You know, but what I'd like to know is what you all are gonna do as far as like what I said, due to the fact you're supposed to represent us. And if it was me, you know what I would be doing. And that's all I do is call officials, and I raise things. I'm surprised I ain't been arrested.
I know, he speaks at all the meetings, he's got the biggest voice.
I've seen you around, you do speak pretty often. For those who don't speak up, you are helping a lot, so thank you for
He
that.
does, he speaks up.
Not everyone can be liked by everybody, you know what I mean, but it's really about resonating. The message is really what matters. So I thank you, appreciate that. What would I be doing right now, and you already brought it up.
Don't talk to me, man, talk to everybody.
He actually knows a lot about this, but right now, the county has set aside $300,000 to move playground equipment for 5-year-olds, not an entire park, just the slide and the little climby thing for 5-year-olds. $300,000. Yes, I made that face. They already spent just under $45,000. I don't make $45,000.
I'm a contractor, sir. How can I bid on those projects?
Right.
Kimberly Horn got paid $45,000. Allow me to paraphrase. Go look at the old playground, look at where they want to put the new one, $45,000. That's it. Nothing got done. They're going to have to put in a new parking lot. They're going to have to put in a non-water running bathroom and stuff like that. It's a whole new thing. They've already spent $45,000, approximately, it's not exact. We still have almost $250,000. I looked into these devices, you're talking a few $1,000s per. And if you want to be around it, and you want distance, so you can get the wind and the distance from it, 8 sensors is beautiful, north, south, east, west, and then you do the cross sections. All right? And we'd still have money to move the slide later.
Give me the contract, I'll buy the equipment when I'm done.
For $300,000, we could have just got all new slides. I don't even think it's multiple slides, I think it's one slide. I might be wrong, there's probably pictures. But what would I do? That's that discretionary spending. We could put a pause on moving that park. This is important. This is something that has time attached to it. This is much more important. Is there other money? Maybe, but this is money that I've seen that is just, unneeded, and
Right,
this
good
is needed.
word, yeah.
Thank you.
Would you say the 45,000 was spent on?
Kimberly Horn, she's the
That's
estimator.
Oh, the second,
Yeah, so, so I know the whole story with Orrin Miller and standing up to the BOCC. I've spoken to a couple politicians lately, you know, and their first warning was to me was, I hope you don't work for the villages or the developer, because if you do, you will lose your job. I explained plainly that no, if I have this campaign and I don't do anything with it, I will continue to politic. I don't have a problem standing up to Arnold. I've asked him questions in the past at BOCC meetings. He's given those kind of brush off answers. And to argue with the other commissioners. I've been to a couple of meetings where commissioners have, I feel like, talked down to other commissioners. I don't really care. I'm a nurse. I've been yelled at by amazing physicians over the years. I'm doing this for our community. I want this community to improve. I don't want the detriment of the community. All this land that is being taken up and turned into pavement is atrocious and terrible. And they're gonna find out soon down the road with the silver tsunami coming and people up north not being able to sell their house because no one up north is going to buy it. This is not sustainable. We need to fix the infrastructure that is already here. I don't have a problem going to the news. I've spoken to the news regarding the landfill. I am doing this to fight for my 6-year-old. I don't know if any of you have been there. I cried at the one BOCC meeting. It's probably amazing sounding on audio. But I'm doing this for myself, my wife, my child, all of my neighbors. I'm in Sumterville, which I've been reading will probably become like Adamsville and just be a memory on the map.
It's going to be.
And yesterday we went to the In-N-Out Grill at over here in Lake Pan, and we were just coming over for a quick bite. We'd never been. We spent 2 hours there just talking to people. I didn't say anything about my political aspirations, just the nice people. Again, originally being from Vermont, I'm used to talking to people. Talk to farmers, talk to everybody. And that's, what community is to me, is to take care of each other. You need something, you help somebody out, something's broken. My 90-year-old neighbor comes over and helps me pull stumps off my property. That's what I want to be doing. I want to help everybody out, jump up and down that. If I can learn what the actions are, I will absolutely do the actions. I will be attending all the meetings in all the counties that I'm able to, within reason. I've got 5 acres, I've got horses, other livestock, trying to make improvements. I've been called the angry Yankee because why am I doing all this if I'm from up north? Because I see what goes on here and what Sumter can do.
Thank you. Does anyone else? Yes, sir, please go ahead.
I'd like to know what you're gonna do to get the county administration in check. Ms. Bichon here, my girlfriend, got a 12-acre tract of agricultural land. It's zoned agricultural, we got the exemption for taxes, the whole 9 yards, it's legit. It sits on a private road. Okay. You know how to tell a private road pretty quick? How do you tell?
Says private road.
Well, if
White
you're
sign,
driving
green
down
numbers.
White Stripe, that's right.
Oh, okay.
White
Okay.
sign, green numbers.
But if you see a county one, it's green.
Okay.
Okay?
Like,
Southwest
Okay.
67th Lane.
Okay.
It's a right-of-way, also known as Southwest 67th Lane. And it's been that way since the 60s.
Okay.
All right? If you look at the county's map even, okay, they got an interactive map.
Yep.
Here's South Main Street. It'll tell you right on that map who maintains that road, and it tells you it's maintained by the state.
Okay.
Okay?
Highway 48,
You look at I-75,
state.
federal. It's actually considered federal because of federal funding. if it's a state road, how it works in almost every state that I'm aware of, I'm a building contractor and we're licensed in 5 states. When they do these roads, they have, you know, if you take care of a state road at a federal level, basically how they want, those guidelines, then you get federal funding for it, which is typically 50% of the money. That's where that comes from. So the states will maintain any state road to that level, okay? Southwest 67th Lane, which is non-county maintained, that's what private means, right? Is a 12-foot wide limestone road. Okay? We're on the corner of 470, 616. 616, and wanted to make sure they understood that one, okay? That's a county maintained and deeded road. Well, they keep sending me maps from the 1960s, from when, true story, okay? This is the maps they're sending me from before I-75 was constructed. Okay, so agritourism. I can tell you all about it, even in this county. Agritourism is part of farming, okay? With agritourism, you don't even need a permit.
Right.
Okay, we went through $40,000 in band deposits, advertising via magazines, radio, social media, and that kind of thing, setting up, had a charity set up to sell alcohol for a music event. And we were going to offer primitive tent camping like they do all over the entire state. Do you know that the number 1 and number 2 things in this state are tourism and agriculture?
Right.
Number 1, number 2.
Right.
Well, they've denied us both. After spending all that money, taking our $250 permit fee that they seem to think we needed, even though I told them, no, we don't, but I'll play your game. It's all about money, let's get real.
Right.
Life's all about money. Everybody knows that, right?
Right, yep.
Okay. What they've done is pretty much forced Miss Deshawn into a point, she had to go get a mortgage against a paid-for property because of the losses. Because they threatened to prosecute us if we had that festival, because they didn't want us to have it, okay? And how they stopped us from having it, the only reason because I went to jail for it, no big deal. The reason I did is because they wouldn't give me a letter to give to the state of Florida for my charitable organization that was going to make a ton of money, Lifting Hearts Together. Legit as can be, 100% of what they bring in goes out. They don't take a dollar out for themselves, for their own fuel, or expenses whatsoever.
Right.
So that's who I had was going to sell. They wanted to do, at Christmas they do gifts for kids, Thanksgiving they feed families entire meals.
What's it called again?
Lifting Hearts Together.
Let me, who passed you something? Who threatened you to sue you?
I was threatened by the county administrator that they were going to file charges.
Arnold?
This guy's name is Jared. He's a young punk attorney that is in the planning department for the county.
Okay, that's.
Obenheiser or something?
That's the second county administrator.
Okay,
The assistant.
okay, well, that's the guy that's been shutting all of this down. He told me, fine, because we had another access. We were gonna lease, property, 5 acres off of 616 for additional parking, so that we didn't have traffic in the area of the event, to make it safe.
Yeah.
I was a fireman EMT for years, and I've got a big background, but I know how to run events. I grew up playing in bands. I started when I was 13 years old and played bands. I've toured. I lived in Nashville. I've done a lot of that. So I know how to run these events. I had a first aid kit stand, you know, was going to hire off-duty medics, off-duty cops for security, even overnight because there was going to be some primitive tent camping.
Yeah.
As lit as could be with the alcohol, was going through every bit of it. They took my money for a permit, wouldn't give me a permit, so that the county guy, I'll have to get his name, would do a impact study on the road. For what road? It's a private road. Well, they wouldn't let us use the county road, and they wouldn't let us use the private road. They're telling us the private road is a state-maintained road. Yes, sir. And I've got emails followed up. It's at the point, the last conversation I had with Bo, he would call me back, and he did. The next day he called me back right at 5 after 5 and said, well, sorry, I've been told, by who, I don't know, but I've been told all of your communications have to go to the county attorney, and I will message her name and number as soon as we get off the phone. He never did it. The next night, it was a Saturday night, phone rang, I went to answer it, and it went blank, somebody hung up, and it was him. That was his number. So he accidentally called me, but he is still yet today to even give me that number. So what I'm asking is, and I'll help you get elected. I had over 100,000 hits on my Facebook page for this music festival in less than 30 days.
Huge.
We had 200,000 over 90 days. Yeah.
They were pushing us to go into the city of Bushnell too. And we did do
The
the
first
covenant.
thing that they did was say, listen, there's a meeting in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We're gonna annex you anyway, so why don't you annex into the city and you just do it at one time? So we went and sat down with the city, and they said, well, you have to pass $1,000, and it'll take us 3 months. Well, we only had 2 months to the festival. And I said, well, why would we wanna do all of that? And then they all at the county knew that Bushnell was in the process, and they changed their tent and all their camping laws. So you can't have a campground. Had I done it that day, as the law was for the county that particular day, there was no reason why we couldn't set a real campground out if we wanted to, because it only required 5 acres, and we have 12. But yet, they pushed us to voluntarily annex into the city of Bushnell,
Yeah.
right? So what happens? I love these farms. I'm a builder. You would think I'd be on the other side. Let's build, baby. No, sir, I'm not. I'm a cracker, buddy.
Your taxes are increased, that's what that is.
That's the annexation. Yep.
So, and I don't mind paying more taxes as long as I'm getting something for it.
Increase.
But don't take my ag land away, and don't deny me of ag. This is what Florida's about.
Right.
We ride motorcycles and dirt bikes.
It used to be about agriculture and tourism, it's only good for tourism, no more, there ain't no more agriculture.
They're trying to run it out. So what's gonna happen is if they end up forcing her off that farm, a developer or somebody, probably somebody small like myself, will just turn around and make it into a bunch of housing and a bunch of more pavement, like Brother said right there.
That's what they do. I agree, sir.
Okay, so who would like to be the first one to respond? Thank you
Yeah.
for that, sir.
I agree, Bradley Arnold's a cancer, right? He needs to go. How do you get rid of him? He is going to leave. He is on record, many of you know this, I found it out recently. He is on record saying, make as much money while you can and then get the hell out. So that's his plan. You know,
It's all about the money.
it's all about the money.
It's all about the money.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
to us, it's not about the money. We lost $40,000.
Right. No, I get it. I
We
get
lost
it.
$40,000
Yeah.
that we were trying to put the farm back. From the hurricanes, we've still got some toppled that ain't been taken care of yet, but we've been working on trees this big around,
Yeah.
hundreds of years old, that were literally uprooted from the hurricane.
Right.
And her husband had just passed away.
Mhm.
He's been gone a year and a half.
Yeah.
So for the last year, we've been together
Right.
and trying to build this farm back up,
Right.
because she can't do it on her own. She's
Right.
got a son that, he's got his own life and whatnot. He can't be there 100% of the time.
No, I hear you.
And I said, well, listen, let's try this. We can have a nice big, and bring people to the community.
Yep.
So they denied me. And then we go, a couple of weeks before we were gonna have a Halloween weekend, we go to Bushnell to the city. It took me 20 minutes to drive from Southwest 67, because you had to go all the way around town, come to the back side.
That's cool.
Because they had all the streets shut down for 21,000+ people right downtown.
Yeah, no, a lot of this development, again, recently learned, is all related to SB, State Bill 180. It's all related to the hurricane. So that's how all this development is coming in. The state bill was put in place in 2025, retroactive in 2024. It will continue through 2030 with the option to extend it. That's what all this building is related to. I agree. I don't understand how a state that was established on agriculture eventually became tourist. All they want to do is the tourism thing. And then DeSantis wants to get rid of property taxes because he feels like we get enough money from tourism. And there is a lot of money, but I don't know how he's going to swing that. So,
Well, it's only gonna be for property owners, that's their
Right.
homestead.
right.
And
Everybody wants to, increase taxes on all these other things.
And I know a lot
and-
of people that own a lot of homes and they only live in one.
Right,
So what they're gonna do, obviously, is raise the taxes on the ones, the property
Right.
taxes will be higher
right,
for those who have to pay those.
right.
Like the people that own the nice, beautiful Airbnbs on Hernando Beach or
Right.
whatever the case
Sure,
may be.
sure,
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, my vote is to do whatever I can to get Brandon.
And I'm all with this guy, being a fireman,
Yeah,
I won't have no problem paying for firemen and police protection, ambulance
Right.
service, none of that.
absolutely.
But I don't wanna pay for it and send it all up to the Yahoo bill, okay?
I hear you.
It's supposed to be for your local regional area, for the
Yes.
local regional people.
Right.
So if we need a new one, build it.
They didn't build no new fire stations outside the
No.
village district,
Before we
did
run
they?
out of
They
time,
Well,
built
I'm
3
aware
of
of.
them since we've been
we're
arguing
getting
about
close to
all
running out
this.
of time, so
Do you ever go
If
to
you'd like to
RBCC
respond.
meetings?
No, ma'am, I haven't.
Sounds like, it sounds like it's a hike for him.
Oh, yeah, if I hadn't lost so much money already and be fighting to save what I've got right now and get back on track, I'd already paid Riley, the attorney, to get the money he wants down, which is huge, to fight him, because he said,
What county are you in?
well, she's in Sumter, the
Sumter,
farm
okay.
is. I live it myself, I personally live in Hernando.
Okay, well, some.
Back and forth.
And you should go on her behalf to some of the meetings and the VOCC
Well,
meetings.
I would say we would go together.
That would go together, absolutely,
Yes.
yeah.
I would definitely go together, yes. A lot of times Bradley Arnold is much more willing to work with you when it's not on the record. From when I go, I see a lot of people talk to him before the meeting. They don't even stay for the meeting because they're that happy.
Well, if I have it my way, I'll publicly humiliate Vogue and some of them that they aren't doing what they're supposed to do. You stand up for the people, you don't stand up with the county administrators, okay?
Kroon is the one that threw the orange juice in his face. They're not a family. What am I gonna do, to answer your question about the administrators? I'm gonna audit him. Because if you fire him without, because the way it works is 3 votes and he's out. Any moment, he could be gone. But he gets one of the most golden parachutes that Florida has to offer. So the best way to do it is to do an audit. Audit him. If he's found for cause, is what it's called. And whether it has anything to do with your thing or someone else's thing, if there's cause, that's an easy 3 votes. You don't need to harass the other board members, you don't need to argue with them. It's basically free. You can send them home packing. He does a lot of this. He does run the county. If you look at votes, staff recommended votes that get pushed through versus what the actual commissioners create themselves, you will find single-digit percentiles. If anything, you will find single-digit things that they do. That's it. That's how very few they do on their own. They rely on him. They need him to do their job. So the best way to handle him, get him back under control, replace him even, is to get control of the board. Understand what abilities you have, and so that you don't have to take everything he says because there's no other option. And that's one of the things we have in common, is that we are doggedly trying to understand everything that's done people over. So
That's
get
why we're here
cause.
today, is so that people in the local community understand how far they are going,
Yes.
you know.
Get calls for Bradley Arnold, and to add to what they said, it's $4.8 billion a year as of 2023. Sumter County only brought in $700 million. So if it's about money, it's the 1.4 versus the 0.7. That's how we're outdone. And go back to your point, Sumter County is one of the original cattle places in Sumter County. It's one of the reasons those 3 roads, the railroad, the interstate, that wasn't random.
No,
It's because of these guys. And then when it almost went bankrupt, because I forget the year of the winter, they came back and they recruited a whole bunch of citrus. It was citrus and cattle teaming up that saved this county. And when the railroad came in and they could start, the railroad came in, saved the cattle. The interstate came in, helped save the cattle and the citrus, kept giving us more and more customers. We could sell to more of the county. Sumter County is at one point the not sweet pea, sweet, one of the green vegetable, I'm really messing this up. We took top place in the world. We were shipping out 3 shipping containers every single day. So we're not just regular agriculture, we've led the world, we've
Yep,
held
absolutely.
titles.
Yep,
So
Well, you-
even though it's 700 million, I still think it deserves respect.
yes, we used
Um,
to, true.
And so with the money, with getting everyone in control, that's the way we need to do it, is just, we need to take control. We need people on the board who know how to use it, so that Mr. One Sumter isn't telling everyone what to vote on. Staff recommends, staff recommends, staff recommends.
That's what he is, one Sumter too.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies, I know before we leave, you have something you wanna ask, right?
I do.
Aw,
I'm enjoying this, listening.
me too.
I love everything you say, I like all the questions. you
Patty,
ask.
you're not
Thank you
gonna fail
guys.
me.
Yeah, I am.
It's.
I haven't had time to get any questions together, I've been running around like crazy.
Anything in general that you'd like to ask or know, or
Can we
have different
split you
opinions?
guys up, why don't you move over to the other district to replace
I,
the other
listen, that's
commissioner?
another thing, I don't know, we need a friend in District 2. Bill Ardello, I don't know, what is your,
Excuse me?
Bill Ardello, he's District 2.
Gotta go.
Yeah, that's way up the north end of the.
No, I understand that, what do you think of,
What, him, period?
yeah?
I can't say it.
It's being recorded.
But again, I think we need a person from that area to challenge Bill Ardello.
Well, I'll go ahead and tell you,
Okay.
the reason why they moved him out of this district, he was at the meeting when I brought up all about this illegal voting, because they were living out of their district. And they should have been
Yeah.
removed back then,
Yep,
but they didn't do it.
nope. He
That's
basically
because
has an apartment.
none of the other
Yeah.
commissioners have no in their vocabulary. And that's something we got to have. We gotta have somebody that says no to them people. When the public of the rest of Sumter County don't like it, because that's what y'all are gonna be doing, our district. We ain't in the villages.
I'm well aware.
That's their own little world.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we don't need their world no more.
I
They done
agree.
screwed
We don't
up
want
Sumter
it.
County.
Yep.
I have a question, if you don't mind, before we go, if that's okay with you, honestly, I would appreciate if you both could take an opportunity to answer for me. I'm a big time animal lover, and so I would like to know what, if elected, what would you propose to do differently to bring the animal shelter up to par and up to date? I'm very interested in knowing that.
Like I said earlier, both Lake and Orange have gotten this huge $2 million grant to upgrade the animal shelters. I'm sure there are plenty of people in the villages who would, I don't want to say volunteer, but I think it's something that definitely needs to be spoke about. I know the former commissioner was a big animal guy. I'm willing to do whatever. I don't know what it is that we could do, but I mean, when I see that the animal shelter is kind of at a high cage rate, it tells me that they probably need to either publicize more, have more events. Like I said, we've got 3 dogs, 5 cats, plus other animals. So I'm an animal lover. I can't take any in personally, but I would look to see what the county can do to make that, because why Lake and Orange are getting these $1 million proposals and we haven't gotten jack.
Right.
So, I would look into it.
Well, Sumter has applied for studies on a new shelter for us. It is in the makings, from what I've read.
Right, but why did the others get it
Go ahead.
already?
Yes.
USDA does do grants. I used to work in humane law enforcement,
Right.
and USDA does offer specific grants
Okay.
for, animal welfare and that kind of thing, so that
Okay.
would be a place where you can kind of start
So,
to.
a grant writer.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Write the grant.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
Thank you, good question. Animal shelter, it's been a thing that's come up multiple times, because it's just gonna continue to be an unresolved issue. I did a little bit of research into it. I reached out to Orrin Miller even to share what I found, to see maybe if I'm coming up with like silly ideas or something that they've already tried. I put together 3 financial stacks based on different grants and other types of revenue that we can bring in. And here's what I found. As long as we are trying to keep it tiny, the way it is, there's almost very little additional funding we can get. But when we start taking in different rescues, when we talk about a storm center, stuff like that, that's when you start think regional, because that's where you're gonna start getting more availabilities for these grants.
And include livestock, especially if you're in an agricultural area, having facilities for livestock rescue, humane law enforcement impoundment, once those investigations, because right now, the way I understand it, the county is having to ask for assistance from outside sources anytime these issues come up. So if you can do them yourselves, you're open to a lot more funding.
Yep.
Thank you.
And setting up a regional center makes you more eligible. And so instead of just looking for a single source of funding, you want to have a funding stack, multiple. Now, mine came up with a 5% philanthropic option, which is people just give money, 10% and 20%. Those are the 3 different stacks that I gave to Warren Miller. We then started talking about other stuff, so we never really came back to it. But please, if you guys do hear something, put it out there, because I'm just going to try to keep grabbing up all these different funding things to make better funding stacks. So it's just a matter of just digging in, getting research, but you have to accept, we have to give up the little tiny one. If you want something bigger, like what they're talking about, you got to go regional. And there is need for regional. You're not just building something for fun. There is actual need around
It
it.
is neat, yeah.
Thank you so much, I appreciate it. Does anyone else have any questions before we close? Anyone?
What was your question? 'Cause I vaguely remember thinking I had an answer for it. You had brought up something, I'm sorry. Man, it was a foot English. I'm sorry. If I remember it.
Sorry.
I do have another
Oh, you
question
just asked
before
me to talk
I
about
forget,
this.
is about, how do we, what do you recommend as a private citizen now? What's your opinion that we don't have access to the county through social media like other counties do? And what would you do different if elected, if anything?
I mean, I've kind of, maybe I mentioned it before the meeting, I find it ridiculous that both City of Bushnell and the Sumter BOCC only do audio recordings. We should really have social media, we should have lives. I mean, the technology is very simple. You need a phone or a camera and Wi-Fi. Mr. May and I attended a meeting where they had some new audio equipment, and they weren't even sure if it was gonna work, and all this stuff, and, you know.
Shouldn't have been done in the meeting.
Right, and, you know, so now you have to request this information from whoever owns it. It's not readily available, versus other counties, you just go on their social media page, and it's right there. You can click on it, you don't have to wait, you don't have to, you know, geez, it's a Friday, let me send the email, maybe it'll be available on Tuesday.
And they respond in real time, which is my big interest, and it's like a mystery of why is that not available for us?
I think it's some of the sketchy, nefarious activity that goes on in this county.
I agree.
I mean, what are they hiding? What are they hiding?
Yeah.
Transparency is everything.
Transparency, absolutely.
We're all in
you know?
agreement there.
I
We're all in
mean,
agreement.
What's the village hiding? Because that's what this whole county is
I
about, is the
know,
village.
I know.
Period.
Thank you.
Right.
Mr. Squire, what would you have to say on the subject?
Actually, this is one of my key pillars that I'm running on is constituent access. I'm going to try to get through this really quickly because I'm not supposed to be doing campaign kind of stuff. We're here for like information sharing, but it does involve a little bit of jargon, so I'm just going to get through it. Constituent access, as a conservative, because I'm running as a constitutional conservative Republican, one of the things we try to do is we try to get the power of the office as close to the people as possible. Now, in this particular case, this is going to go towards town halls and newsletters. As she said, for the social media thing, it also extends to town halls and newsletters. We have piggybacking, where someone can go to somebody else's town hall and then just show up. But an official town hall has to be given plenty of notice. In Florida, it's about 7 to 10 days. And they generally like to have a list of the things that are going to be discussed. Sumter County does not do that. When I spoke to Bradley Arnold, because I told him we should be having district town halls, and Bradley Arnold should be coming to them because he has so much information and so much gets, oh, well, we gotta talk about it later when you don't have him there. He said he's more than willing to do it. My research showed about $6,000 a year to host a monthly town hall, 3 commissioners, Bradley Arnold, clerk of court, so it's recorded, we have quorum, and we rotate it. Each month, we do District 1, but we bring 3 commissioners, so Commissioner 5, 1, and 2. Okay, so in case we need to add something to an agenda at a BOCE meeting. And this means it's recorded. This means Bradley Arnold is going to get dragged to everyone's neighborhood to answer your questions. You're not going to drive to the heart of the kingdom to get your answers. He's going to come to you. And that is because when you don't have that particular set of overlapping constituent access, you lose out on transparency and accountability. Because, talking about transparency, there's a difference between access and transparency. Access is, let me have 2 phones so I can talk on my personal one and then tell everything I need to for the government phone. That is access, so it's easier for you to ask for favors. Transparency is, just let me pull out my phone and look at the dashboard. Why do I need to call you? That's access. So that is specifically how you handle this, is that. And to answer the question more specifically, why we don't, he said it is 2 reasons. One, it's a lot of drama. Some employee has to do the arguing. Secondly, that's fine. Secondly, is they don't want to pay, right? They don't, someone's got to do it. So they don't want to pay for it. It costs money for storage.
That's ridiculous.
$300,000 for a playground, but they don't wanna pay for somebody's
And how
mileage
did,
and
how
storage?
did the other counties do it? How does Marion County do it?
Wow.
Follow the villages.
General funds. It comes out of the general fund. Like I said, I did my research, about $6,000 a year. Bradley Arnold scoffed at that. Like, it's not even gonna be that much. So, and I don't know if we're allowed to tell them how much the thing is. Like, it's almost twice as much. When I sign the paperwork, it's almost twice as much as what you're gonna see online. I don't even know if me and him are allowed to say it. They just keep 6,000 of that. I used to do weekly town hall roundtables. I don't mind it. I enjoy it. If it's going to be that big of a problem, the first 4 years, I will always be one of the third.
Is there, and I'm fairly new coming back to this area, I kind of grew up down in Tampa, Hillsborough County area. But that's not old Florida anymore, that's why we came here. Because this is what I know of Florida, I was born and raised in Florida. Is there local Rotary clubs, Lions clubs, community organizations here that can do fundraising, crowdsourcing, for some of these projects that the city is using taxpayer funds on, that could be done outside of the county and going through the Board of County Commissioners and that kind of thing? Are there groups and organizations in this area that are doing that?
Great question. Do you guys want to answer it?
I'm already standing. The question was, is there it's a very difficult word for me.
Right, philanthropic.
Yeah, is that what you were asking specifically?
Basically, but they're groups that work in conjunction with the community and the county, and so they kind of have this inside track that they can work hand in hand, but they're still outside of some of the regulations that have to be met. They can do it under a nonprofit, or they can do it under, so it's not through the same type of regulation that processing through the county was. And the county can then say, okay, this would be a perfect project for this group, or this would be a perfect project for that group to handle, outside of all of those rules and regulations that are gonna fall under county ordinances and that kind of thing, that are community-based. I just, like I said, we used to have things like Lions clubs and Rotary clubs.
Saving Southern,
Well, we
rural
do,
Sumter
but they
and-
all, honest to God, they all benefit the villages. They do. I hate to say that, but the Rotary Club, the Lions Club, all those
So we need a South Sumter Club.
We need something here for us, we need something for our, what we stand on.
Because I'll be honest with you, and I appreciate the Life of Sumter page, because I wouldn't know about a lot of these things if it wasn't for your efforts.
Thank you.
And I do appreciate that.
She does wonderful, she does.
I wouldn't know about a lot of these topics and issues and that kind of thing. if it
Thank
wasn't
you
for that
so
page.
much, and thank you all for being here today, and unfortunately, our time is up. So thank you so much for your questions and for your answers, and thank you all for participating respectfully and for being part of this important conversation. Any follow-up or next steps will be shared after the meeting. The meeting is now concluded. Thank you. And just stay tuned for the next one that I put together. Thank you.
Taking your time.
Things matter, sometimes you gotta take time whenever you have to, because things matter.
Sorry if I got things off
No,
track. I'm
good.
trying to catch
Thank
up.
you.
Good meeting
Yes,
you.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Leslie?
Completed report business.
Nice to meet you.
No, great question, you have so much to know, you need to sit chairs away. Or did they?
I think that they're gonna do
Okay.
that.
So, it was really cool when I was holding on to it, and I forgot.
Back when it was brand new. Brand new, but yeah, it was
Take one of those.
third world, you know.
Yes.
I was
Yeah.
actually born in Pensacola.
There's certain things we can't say to each other.
Very
because
rural,
it says
around
Voter
there.
protection, voter protection.
We moved to Oklahoma
But,
for a few years.
I'm down for
My husband's
round
working,
two.
he passed away.
Whoever wins, like, I mean, there's going to be another election in 4 years, you know, so I mean, like, and I think he's pretty cool. I'll be
Just
honest.
outside of Milton.
Okay.
So we're kind of halfway off
Yeah.
76 between Milton and
And
Bushnell.
and you were gonna be in District 2, weren't
Still
you?
on the same.
No.
Before,